Introduce you to Adam Tihany. Welcome, Adam.
How are you?
Adam Tihany, I'm sure you've heard the name. You're designing every hot restaurant in the entire world right now, aren't you?
True. 12,000 bottles of wine. I said, you know what? I'm going to make the most incredible wine room in this space. So when you come in, you walk through this wine experience. So it's easier said than done because
Yes.
I really didn't have any clue of what I was going to do here. So that night, I'm in my room and I turn on television. I was watching Mission Impossible, and I see Tom Cruise like floating in this white room. I said, "That's my wine tower. This is the idea. It's going to be a place, like this incredible glass box where these beautiful ladies fly up and down to get the wine.
Yeah.
And the stair will be around it. So when you come in, you experience this wine tower not only as a piece of architecture but also as a piece of merchandising." And then I went ahead and I built a model and I showed it to Charlie, and he was very impressed, and we went ahead and did it.
Wow. Now, my question. Now, this is a great tower, but you were originally going to make it out of plexiglass or glass. The staircase.
Well, yeah, the stair itself was supposed to be glass too.
I would not have gone down that staircase.
You see, the idea was that you float in space like Tom Cruise, and I know that was one of the considerations. We didn't do it.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that it was astronomical in cost.
Yes.
People psychologically have a problem of walking on air.
Yes, yes. But that's a great idea. You're very creative. And when you told me about the Mission Impossible idea, how it came to you, it made me realize that you're the kind of person who you see vision. Is that how you construct restaurants? You see a flash of vision, and then
I see something in everything. I mean, the idea is the life is full of stimulants.
Right.
And people see things. I mean, three people might look at the same thing and each one sees something different. I'm one of those. I see something different in everything.
Right.
Sometimes it does apply to my work, sometimes it doesn't. But to me, my main philosophy when I do design work for people such as Charlie or all the famous chefs like Lydia Shire in Boston, Wolfgang Puck, Thomas Keller, Sirio Machoni, et cetera, is to portray them somehow.
Right.
Is to design a portrait for them, to do something that looks as great as they are and that showcases their incredible creations, which is the food.
Right.
I mean, I don't want my work to overshadow. The great moment in the restaurant is not when you walk in and you say it looks great. The great moment is when the food arrives to the table. Now, I have to build everything around it, this perception, this anticipation, and it has to look like what you're going to get on the table. So it's sort of like a series of signals that lead you up to the main event, and that's what I do.
Interesting. I just find it fascinating. I think that you know what you're going to do even before the chef knows what he wants.
Oh, sure.
Do they come to you with ideas about what they want? And
some of them do. Some of them are more visual than the others. But a lot of people, a lot of these chefs have no visual training, so to speak, or architectural. So sometimes I tell them, you know what? Don't tell me what you want. Just cook a meal for me.
Right.
Show me the food that you want to put on this table. I look at the food, and I try to extract myself and put myself at the door of an establishment that eventually will serve this food.
Yes.
And I want to see what it feels like. How does it look like? What kind of things people expect to see in order to, when they get this dish, to fully appreciate it. It's an interesting process.
It is. It is.
I've been doing it for quite a while, so I sort of.
Is the last 5 years your hottest 5 years in terms? I mean, every single press kit I get, you've designed the restaurant.
Well, I am a strange breed of designer and restaurateur. I owned restaurant myself, and I still do. I own Remy in New York and Santa Monica.
Oh, Remy.
Yeah. So the great chefs see me more as a colleague, not just a designer. I mean, I know operations, I know how restaurants function. It's a very interesting combination because it doesn't, most designers don't have that first-hand experience. Everybody that works in my office has the opportunity to work actually in a restaurant every couple of months as a waiter or as a chef.
How interesting.
So they can learn how a real restaurant functions. It's not just beautiful things put together.
Right.
There's a logic to the madness. So I've created myself some kind of a niche where the top operators and chefs all over the world, when they decide to do something, when they need that custom suit,
Right.
I'm the custom tailor.
You know what I like about what you said is you're right. Chefs are. I mean, chefs. It depends. Some people can't think visually. I would not know what I'd want my restaurant to look like, but I'd like you to get to know me and my cuisine, and
Exactly.
and you tell me what I want, because
This is exactly.
you need to have specialists.
This is exactly what it's all about.
Exactly. How far do you get involved in? As you can see, the place settings are wonderful. How far do you get involved in terms of the the silverware and all that kind of thing?
We're
Colors?
100% custom
Okay.
tailor. We start from the floor up. We get involved in design and selection of china, silver, glass, the uniforms of the staff, the design of the graphics. Sometimes we do it ourselves. Sometimes we hire consultants.
Right.
I do the fabrics, and we do everything. So it's really a one-stop shop. You get the whole 100 yards,
Amazing, amazing.
furniture and so on.
Now, if a restaurateur is considering hiring an architect or working with a designer, what kinds of things, how should they prepare for that in their minds, or
Just be open.
just be open?
Be open. Just tell whoever you're hiring where you come from
Okay.
and where do you want to go. That's all a good designer needs to know. He needs to know the past, and he has to look towards the future.
I have to tell you that beyond the wine tower at Ariel, what I like most about this area is the space. I think it's a characteristic of all of your restaurants, isn't it? That
Thank you.
sense of oxidized air and energy and space.
Well, in between the equation, there's always the space.
Right.
You can want a million things, but if the space that you're renting does not lend itself to do certain things, it's that much more difficult. When I walk into a space, a raw space first, it speaks to me. I mean, it tells me what it needs to be done to it,
Yes.
instead of me telling it what it should be. And the space planning, the alterations, the way it flows, the way the scale is, the height vis-a-vis the width. I mean, these are all elements that a good architect should have in their hands as a tool. I mean, this is what makes you different than the others, that you can see how to plug in or how to fit in something into space where other people don't see how to do it. I mean, a lot of people ask me, oh, how did you do this? Such a difficult space. I said, to me, a difficult space is just another challenge. I mean, it's not unsurmountable. On the contrary, I like difficult spaces.
Yes.
I like the wrestle, the creativity of how you take something that somebody else otherwise wouldn't know what to do with and do something great with it.
Well said. Thank you so much for being on the
It's a
show.
pleasure. I so appreciate it.